Hello everyone, my name is Valent and this is the Hoca Talk podcast. This is episode 3 of an entirely unedited and unscripted weekly podcast on YouTube and on Spotify, wherever you're listening to. I'd like to say first of all, thank you for being here and thank you for clicking on the video. So to ensure you don't miss any further episodes of Hoca Talk, including this one, be sure to hit the bell on the video on YouTube. Obviously, I don't think you can do it on Spotify, just so you get a notification whenever I upload, so obviously you don't miss anything in case you don't look through your sub box. Anyway, episode 3, you'll see that the title is 2,979 miles, and I will go into explain why in a bit. I wanted to say first of all though, thank you to everyone who showed some love on the episode last week. It was with my brother and I, and we talked about all things NBA football and F1. If you missed it, not the end of the world. A link will be provided in the description below, and if you want to check out the first episode, the introduction, which has over 120 views, I think, which again I can't believe, and all the love shown on that as well. That will be obviously on the channel too. Anyway, 2,979 miles. Why is this the name of today's episode? Well, in 2016, my family and I decided to, instead of fly to Turkey to my father's hometown of Erdiş, not that you can get a flight to Van from Istanbul, and then go like that. We decided instead to drive, and we also did in 2014 with my father and a few of his friends, but I say few of them, only one of them, not that obviously matters. 2016 was a very memorable time, and that was the last time we went. We would have been going this summer because of COVID and so on. Probably not the best of ideas, especially because of how bad things are in Turkey right now, but less said about that the better. Hopefully, obviously, it clears up. So, we travelled from Wales. I live in Wales, as I've brought up on many occasions before already, all the way to Turkey, some 2,979 miles, which obviously does now explain, if you hadn't guessed it already, why the episode is called 2,979 miles. So we travelled through, I guess if you want to include Wales as well, 11 countries, if not, then 10. So obviously England, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, not Holland, I always say the Netherlands. I lived with a guy from the Netherlands in the second year of uni, and he said, say the Netherlands, not Holland. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. Germany, Austria, Hungary, Serbia, Bulgaria, and obviously at the end, Turkey. So, we went in 2014 as well, and I just wanted to briefly talk about that to begin with. We obviously went with a friend of my father's, and when we were in Belgium, I think it was coming back, there was some real confusion of Ghent, I think spelled G-H-E-N-T in Belgium, and Ghent spelled G-E-N-K, Ghent. They do sound relatively similar, and obviously, there was a bit of confusion there, but obviously we made our way back. We actually got lost, I think. I don't know if this was in 2014 or 2016, and ended up in the Netherlands on the way back, but we saw a sign to Aachen in Germany, and managed obviously to find the way we had to be going and should have been going in the first place. It was late at night as well, and we were somewhere in the middle of Netherlands. I can't remember what the time was, but yeah, different experience that was. Don't get me wrong, I love airplane travel. I went to Spain 2 years ago, I think it was. This was before COVID kicked in, obviously, on a trip with the uni that obviously I went to, and that was amazing, and I'd definitely go again. Not that that's what we're talking about here now. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of aviation, and I love all things aviation. I watch documentaries on National Geographic about it and so on. But we decided, instead of going to Heathrow and then getting a flight to Sabiha Gökçen or any of the other airports in Istanbul and another flight to Van, we'll just drive instead. So a few years back, my dad bought a Mercedes Vito, and what we did, we converted it to a motorhome. So there's a bed in the back, and obviously my brother, father and mother slept in the back, and I slept in the front because there wasn't enough space for all of us, but that's fine. And we worked on that in the car park near my house, and yeah, that was really nice, a nice family project to work on, rather than get someone else to do it. I think it's better when you do it by yourself. You get more pride out of it and so on. So flat out, like I said, 2,979 miles. We did it in the Vito, obviously, in 2016. In 2014, we did it in my dad's Ford Galaxy, which he doesn't have anymore, and probably for the best. Outside of Malatya in Turkey, like was it 7 years ago now, the car went into limp mode, I think my dad said earlier when I asked him, and that obviously was not a pleasant experience. A fair play to the Galaxy, it did make it to and back, what is essentially a 5,000-mile round trip, isn't it? And into even another continent altogether, because Erdish is obviously right at the end of the country, and I'll get into more of that later on, near the Iranian border in Asia. So that was exciting when you see the Welcome to Asia sign when you go over whatever bridge it was in Istanbul. So yeah, back to 2016, obviously, like I said, we went through 10 countries, and I remember when we were going through Austria, I think it was on the way back, I saw some FK Austria Vienna fans, or Vienna, however you pronounce it. If I've said it wrong, I do apologise if any Austria Vienna fans are listening. And I had a Cardiff City top, and obviously I support Cardiff. I've talked about it on multiple occasions before. We were talking about it last week as well. And they came up to me like, oh, Cardiff City, and they were excited to see someone with a Cardiff City top, and I imagine they don't see many Cardiff City fans in that part of Austria. But yeah, that was nice. I think they were going to a game. I don't know who Austria Vienna were playing that day. What I do, obviously, they play in the Austrian Bundesliga, don't they? But that's obviously not what we're talking about here, is it? Because of my great map skills, and I am obviously being sarcastic here, we ended up in the capital of Belgium, Brussels, and obviously we didn't need to be there, or we shouldn't have been there. But it is what it is. It was a nice alternative route, I guess we went. So yeah, we ended up in Brussels, and we actually ended up in Belgrade as well, I think, coming back. So yeah, unexpected but spontaneous, and spontaneous in my eyes is good. So, as I said earlier, Ardish is near the Iranian border, which is the whole end of the country. So when we got to Turkey after crossing the border from Bulgaria into Turkey, we were in Capicula, and that's 1,000 miles, over 1,000 even, from Erdish. So you think, oh, we're in Turkey now, but there was so long still to go. Like I said, flat out, it takes about 2 days and 3 hours, but that's unrealistic, especially when there's only one driver to make it all that way in one go. But hopefully next time we go, because I've since passed my test a couple of years back, both my father and I can drive, so that'll be nice. Hopefully next year, and I might be sitting here in a year's time or whenever, talking about a whole different experience that we went on, or hopefully go on. But obviously, like I said, this year is a write-off, unfortunately. But yeah, it was still over 1,000 miles there when we got into Turkey. So, that was a bit like, wow, okay. So we're not even halfway there yet still, really. But yeah, we were going through Serbia, and Serbia was definitely interesting. I know there's other ways you can go, so you can go through Croatia, you can go through Bosnia and Slovenia, Kosovo, I think, as well. That might be a bit further out of the way, but yeah, hopefully next time we go, we can go through Romania too. Instead of going the same way all the time, which can get boring, go different ways. And what we like to do, and we didn't do this in 2014, but in 2016 when we went 2 years later, we stopped in some places along the way. We didn't just go flat out, because that's boring. You don't really take in any of the scenery and so on, and take in your surroundings when they literally mean the same thing. But yeah, when you are just going flat out, there's no enjoyment, is it? And I guess that's the fun that you take out of it when you fly somewhere on a plane. You just go from one airport to another, essentially, don't you? And then you're wherever you're going to. But yeah, on the way back, they disinfected underneath our car upon entry into Bulgaria from Turkey, which was kind of just like to rub salt in the wounds, to really annoy people coming from Turkey into Bulgaria. And I think we had to pay for it as well. So a little bit unnecessary, but it is what it is. I guess they wanted underneath the car to be nice and squeaky clean for the Bulgarian roads. But yeah, I'm jumping from everywhere and anywhere now. But that's what we do on a Hoca Talk podcast, isn't it? We talk about everything and anything all at once. And another shout out, Emmy, you'll know I do this exact same thing when you and I talk all the time too. We were on a dark mountain road, and I can't remember what time it was specifically, but we had a massive traffic jam behind us, because obviously all the locals, they know how to drive that road and so on. And it was basically pitch black, which was interesting. There was no lights anyway, a lot of lights in the place up. And we were driving inside a canyon, and I'd love if we go next year to see that same road bit in the daytime, to fully appreciate it, and maybe get some good shots for the gram and so on, so that'd be nice too. Again, staying in Serbia, I think this was when we were going there. Obviously, we converted the Vito into a motorhome and put a roof on the top, or not the top, inside, there's already a roof on the top, And the guy at the checkpoint, the border checkpoint, because I don't think at the time Serbia was in part of the EU. It might be different now. You might still need to go through like passport control checks and so on. It's not like the Schengen zone. I think that's what that's called. So, for example, you can go into France from Belgium just like that, and you're just passing through. But yeah, the guy was like, "What's this?" Talking about our roof inside the car, and we explained to him, is the roof it is. And I think everything and anything happens in Serbia. We were lining up, and for some roads, I think the same in France, you have to like pay to go on them. It's like a toll road. I don't think there's car tax in France. Maybe that's why they do it, but that's a whole different topic altogether. And we didn't have any Serbian dinar. I think that's the currency of Serbia. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure someone will in the comment section below. Feel free to if you want to. And we were just trying to pay with British pounds instead, pound sterling. And the guy was like, well, in the UK you use pound sterling. We don't use pound sterling here. And he was actually expecting us to go wherever to try and find some Serbian dinar. But I think, thankfully, if I remember off the top of my head, the car behind us had some dinar, and we just exchanged however much it was in Serbia's currency, and just gave the car behind us, I don't know, a 10 or however much it was. So that was interesting. I guess to kind of see where the guy was coming from, but you couldn't really expect us to go wherever when we're literally front of the queue to try and find some dinar. But yeah, interesting to say the least, that was. I think it took us a longer time to get back because we just took our time when we were coming back. It took us maybe like 5 days. It took us less time to get there rather than how long it took us to get back home in Wales. So take of that what you will. But yeah, I enjoy it more when you, like I said, stop and take in the scenery and so on, rather than you just go from point A to point B just like that. There's no real enjoyment in there. In that even, not in the English. Come on, I did English at uni for 3 years. I remember when we were in Serbia, and there's a place in Serbia that has the same place name in Bulgaria. I think it's Dimitrovgrad. If I've said that wrong again, I do apologise. I'm not too bad normally pronouncing place names. But yeah, I said to everyone in the car at the time, oh, we must be in Bulgaria already. It's time for Dimitrovgrad. And, that would have meant that we were pretty close to the Turkish border then with Bulgaria. But it turns out that, like I said, there's the same place name in Serbia as there is in Bulgaria, called Dimitrovgrad. I mean, the queues to get into Serbia and Bulgaria were a nightmare. I mean, I can't remember how many hours we were there waiting. I remember when we went into the Serbia-Bulgaria border, you had, like, the massive Bulgarian flag in the middle of the checkpoint or the crossing, and you had, like, Welcome to the Republic of Bulgaria on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side then you had Welcome to Bulgaria in their language. Yeah, I remember when we were coming back, and obviously this was coming back, obviously, like I just said. This is what happens when, it's unscripted and edited. Anyway, we move. It was late at night, and I think a bunch of these Turkish people were trying to get petrol, but the petrol station was closed, and obviously they were waiting outside trying to fuel their cars up and whatever. And there was a certain shop, and my brother's listening, and anyone else in the family, and there were people going in there trying to ask if there was fuel in there. Now, I'm not going to say what the shop was because we keep a PG here, we do, but yeah, I don't think a shop like that will sell petrol or whatever, or gas, whatever you want to call it. So that was funny. But yeah, I mean, it was so overwhelming when we realised when you get to Kapikula, they were still over 1,000 miles to Erdish, because my dad's from near the Iranian border. But yeah, I really hope we can go again sometime. I've missed going. I've been thinking about perhaps going travelling by myself sometime. I know there's a company called Flixbus that you can get a coach from London Victoria coach station and go anywhere and wherever in Europe, like Spain, Portugal. And I was thinking about going to Sofia in Bulgaria, or Sofia, however it's pronounced. But obviously the journeys and so on are a little bit all over the place in a minute because of COVID going on. But hopefully, as we get closer to the summer, I mean, we're in May already, things start to change, and that'll be nice. Because it'll be a whole different experience, I think, going away by myself rather than with my family. Not that, obviously, I don't enjoy going away with my family. I mean, family is everything, and nothing beats going away with your family and creating memories to remember for as long as you remember them. But yeah, like I said, don't get me wrong about airplane travel. I do enjoy it. I've always been a fan of aviation, but driving to wherever, it just hits different. It's just a different experience altogether. And I'm really glad that my dad bought that Vito, converted it to a motorhome, and we worked on it together. It was really nice. And I think everyone was surprised when we got there and we just pulled up in just 2014 now in the Galaxy. Fair play to the Vito though. I mean, obviously it's German, made by Mercedes. It starts every single time my dad goes to start up, even now, in 2021. Will we be going again in the Vito? I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see. Hopefully we do. And hopefully I get to drive this time. That'll be exciting. I mean, I haven't really driven as much since a lot even since passing my test, but driving in Europe will be a whole different experience, other side of the road. Oh, they drive on the wrong side of the road. Well, no, that's how it is in Europe, isn't it? Something else I remember now. I'm remembering things the more I talk about it. When we were in Istanbul, we heard like this loud explosion, and it turns out, I think because of how hot it was that particular day, a truck's wheel literally exploded, and like all the rubber came off of it, and man, it was like a bomb or something went off. But it was that explosion of the wheel just coming to pieces, which was probably a daunting experience for the driver of the truck. But I think everyone was fine and there was no one injured or whatever, which is obviously what you want to happen. Bit of a random fact now, but when we were in Serbia, I think this was coming back, my brother and I went to the toilet. I'm not going to go too TMI, obviously, too much information, but the toilets on the border, wherever this was, I can't remember now off the top of my head, but they were immaculate. I mean, they were like the best looking toilets I've ever seen. Anyone swear they were just being cleaned every second of the day. Why I decided to say it, I don't know, but I guess shout out to you and your toilet, Serbia. They're squeaky clean. And I think the most enjoyable thing was we didn't have a sat nav for most of the trip. We were just like basing it off a map and just like, Munich's on the map, we need to go through Munich, if you get what I'm saying. Obviously, it didn't work out all the time because of my great navigational skills. I took geography up to A level, but not even that could save us from ending up in the middle of Brussels. But that's part of the experience, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you go the wrong way. I mean, if you go way off course, then obviously then you got a problem. But luckily, that didn't happen when we ended up in the Netherlands late at night. My mother was saying, it's late at night. There's no cars on the road. We were thinking even stopping at like a petrol station and asking someone, how do we get back to Aachen? But luckily we didn't need to because we saw a sign. So the sign gods, if they do exist or are a thing, were on our side that time. One thing I want to do if we go next year, I want to learn all the languages of the country we're going through, like more than I do now. So, like Nelson Mandela said, rest in peace to him, obviously, he passed away a couple of years ago at the age of 95, I think. The best way to a man's heart is by speaking to him in his mother language. So rather than be boring and just speaking English to these people, we might need help from and so on. Speak to them in their mother tongue. You should see the smile on their face. So, we're talking French, Dutch, German, Austrian, Hungarian, Serbian, Bulgarian. Don't need to learn Turkish, obviously. I remember actually when we were crossing into Turkey, I said, "İyi günler, have a good day" to the guy at the border crossing checkpoint, whatever you want to call it. And he was surprised. He was like caught off guard. He wasn't expecting me to say that for whatever reason. But I think now travel to Turkey, I don't think you need a visa anymore. I think it's recently changed. I mean, I know a lot of people will probably be looking to go to Turkey this summer, and I'm good on you if you can. I know a lot of people have had their flights cancelled already, but if you do manage to go, then I hope you enjoy it. Whoever you are out there listening and you're going, I mean, if I was going to go to Turkey and not go to Erdiş, I'd probably go to Ölüdeniz where my parents met 24 years ago, actually now. I'll be 25 next year, and I'm trying to plan a little something for my parents, because my mother will be her 50th, so an added incentive right there. I'd love to go to Ölüdeniz where they met, just to see it for myself. I'm sure, it's a very popular tourist destination for people when they go into Turkey, Marmaris, Fethiye, Ölüdeniz, Antalya, places like that. But yeah, not many people obviously will know Van Eredish, but if you look at Van Gulu on Google Images, or Lake Van as it is in English, I mean, the views and the scenery are just absolutely gorgeous. And on Sahiliolu roads in Erdish, you can sit next to the lake and sit in a little booth, I guess you want to call it, and I can just picture it a couple of years down the line, or if I'm still doing this, and I plan to be doing a podcast there with a camera and so on. I mean, that would be amazing. The beautiful scenery and recording the podcast, doing something I enjoy doing. I think it's important to do that, isn't it? Do something you enjoy doing and brings you joy. And I'm glad I plucked up the courage to do this. But yeah, maybe further down the line, watch this space. That might be coming your way soon. Next week, and I'm going off topic and tangent again, I might be bringing on a guest. We shall see. I say might because, I have to work around when people are free and so on. Maybe my brother will even come back on. We shall see. But for now, my lips are sealed. I can't reveal anything at the moment. Some weeks, it'll be like today, like the introduction as well. It'll just be me. Other weeks, I'm having a guest. I might have two guests on. We shall see. That's the beauty of the Hoca Talk podcast. You never know what's coming until the day of the upload. And, I start recording and you see it on YouTube and on Spotify. A link, obviously, to the episode on Spotify when it's uploaded will be in the description below as well. So if you want to share it around with your friends and family, by all means be my guest. The more love I can get on this podcast series, the better. And I obviously really appreciate all the love shown on it so far. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, click that bell to make sure you never miss an episode when it gets uploaded. You'll get a notification on your phone or whatever to say that an episode's up. And, the rest is history. You can listen to it then. If you're still listening, obviously thank you for still being here, and I appreciate it a lot. There was one road, I think it was on the way to Hakkari in Turkey, or perhaps around that area in eastern Turkey where Erdish is, and, I mean, it was an amazing road. Again, like the one in Serbia, it was going through a canyon, and, Top Gear, like Chris Harris, Paddy McGuinness, Freddie Flintoff, not the OGs because they're doing the Grand Tour on Amazon now. If you're listening, you're probably not, but if you ever need somewhere to go, I highly recommend going to that part of Turkey. I mean, again, it's not much love shown to it. Some of the roads there are just, like my brother said last week, muy caliente, very beautiful, and we speak all languages on the Hoca Talk podcast. We're international, we are. So yeah, that was a really nice road to drive on, and I'm excited, like I said, to hopefully be behind the wheel driving myself when we go next. Nervous? Yes, obviously, but, I passed my test for that reason, to start driving and have a car myself, which I don't have at the moment, but hopefully that'll change soon enough. But yeah, if you're ever going somewhere, rather than flying, I think, think about it twice and maybe drive there instead. Because after I went to Cordoba, Andalusia in Spain 2 years ago, I'm sure my dad wants to go to that part of Spain, and we were talking about driving there, so who knows, next time we drive somewhere, it might even be to Spain. That'd be nice. I highly recommend going there as well, to Sevilla, to Cordoba, not Seville. I get triggered about that too. It's Sevilla, like they say in Spain. That part of Spain, highly recommend going there as well. And I remember, I think when we went in 2016, it was still Ramadan, like it's Ramadan now. There's only 2 or 3 days left at the time of you listening to this, recording this, not writing. I did say writing before. And it was the hottest day anywhere in Turkey, in Erdish at that time, and I was fasting, and yeah, that was not a pleasant experience. It's not been too bad this year. The only times I really get thirsty is when I'm in work and so on, and that's another reason why the podcast is coming out today, because I'm working tomorrow and Wednesday, and I won't have the time, unfortunately, to record it, but that's fine. What better way to start your week off with another episode of the Hoca Talk podcast, right? That explains that, why it's coming out today. But it's just a whole different experience it is. I don't think you can get that same experience when you're flying somewhere. I'm not hating on flying, like I said, but definitely if we go again, hopefully next year, because it's been 5 years already, we drive again. That's the plan anyway, but who knows? COVID might have something to say about that. I don't know. Anyway, probably going to wrap it up now. Like I said, the first episode, I'm trying to aim to make these between 25 to 30 minutes an episode. Last week, we went 31 minutes, but that's hardly going over, is it? And I'm not going to get punished by YouTube or whatever. The first episode, will be on the channel if you want to go and view that. The last week's episode with my brother, all things NBA, F1 and football. Link to that will be in the description below, along with my Instagram, the Discord server, if you want to join that, be my guest, and maybe we can get some things going on there. And also, that's pretty much it, yeah. Like I said, last week's episode, that's going to be there. My Instagram is going to be there. My Facebook, if you want to send me a message, if you have a topic you want to come on and talk about, by all means, let me know. Comment on the post. I'm going to share this on Facebook. So, I want to get as many people seeing this as possible. So share it with your friends, your family, your dog, if your dog wants to watch it. Maybe your dog likes podcasts, I don't know. The more people, like I said, watching this, the better. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. I'll be back next week. Don't know the topic yet. Like I said, if you want to recommend one yourself, then by all means, come on and talk about it. The more the merrier in terms of recommendations. Last week's episode will be in the description below. I have been Belent. This has been a Hoca Talk podcast. Thank you for listening, and I'm going to go with a different outro music for this week. Let me know. I'm using Podbean to record these, and there's only so many tracks you can use on Podbean. If you want to obviously use your own, you have to upgrade, but I mean, I'm tight when I want to be, and I'm tight right now because I don't want to upgrade just to use my own tracks on there. So let me know what you think about that. It's called Inspiration From Above. It's something different rather than using the same intro and outro music all the time. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. Feel free to leave a comment, any suggestions how I can improve this, any criticism you may have. I'm more than open to that. More criticism I get, the better, it can help me improve, and I always want to improve. Any feedback, positive feedback, love that, can't beat that. But that's pretty much it. Have a nice rest of your Monday, or if you're not listening to this on Monday today, have a nice rest of your day. Take care of yourselves out there, stay safe, and Hoca Talk episode number 4, the next part of this podcast series will be up next week sometime, so look forward to that. Thank you for listening, thank you for being here if you're still here, and I will see you very soon.